Alright, this is the video that we're going to be making today. It's got a nice little hologram effect here. Transitions go through. It's got like a bit of a depth of field reveal, which is giving us the motion. And nice rounding out reveal transition at the end into the final shot. So, first things first, create a new composition. 1920 by 1080 at 6 seconds is fine. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to make a new solid. Comp size is fine. Just name it 3D object, whatever you like. Now use Trapcode From today. So pop that on there. This is what's going to drive the particles. I've already got my 3D object in here, my OBJ file. You can turn that off. Go in here into the base form and we'll select the OBJ model, and down in the OBJ settings we can select that. Change the particle density down to 15, and that should do it for that category. Go into the particles and we'll make the sphere feather 2 size down to 0.5, opacity about 70%, and we'll change the color. Now you can pick radial here and just select random, pick something that you think looks good. This pink looks fine, we'll go with this one. Now make sure down in the rendering that full render and depth of field smooth is on, comp settings is fine. Now we need to create a new camera so that we can move around in 3D space here. So we'll get that on and we'll zoom in to see what we're working with. So you can see there where it says E3D, I've actually got this 3D model out of Element 3D just as one of the stock elements in that program. Now we're getting in nice and close here. Go into the camera options and we're going to turn depth of field on, aperture 35, and that'll give us a nice little blur here on the edge, and this is the effect that we're going for. Now let's just add a little bit of movement in here, so we'll go back into disperse and twist here, go to the start of the comp and we'll keyframe twist at 0, and at the end we'll keyframe it to 1, so we'll just get a slight bit of movement over the duration. Back to our camera settings now. Now we just need to adjust a little bit, play around, get something that looks nice. Now keep in mind we're going to be changing the focus distance here, and that's what's going to achieve the reveal effect. So we'll try 200, maybe a little bit less. 190, that's nice. So we're going to have a keyframe there. Head over to 2 seconds and we'll find a little bit more. So we want it to slowly reveal itself, so maybe that's a little bit too much. 195, yeah, that looks good. Maybe 198, somewhere in the middle there. And now we'll head to the end and keyframe it up so it's going to reveal the whole screen. 260 looks about right. Now you'll see here, if we head back to the start, we've got a, it'll slowly reveal itself over the first 2 seconds, and then after 2 seconds it will get faster and reveal the whole composition. Now I'm just going to add a little glow here onto our 3D object. It's best to do this at the end so that it renders a little bit faster while you're working. 0.5 for the amount should do fine, 20 for the fall off, and size maybe 200. Now I'm using optical glow here, also by Red Giant. I think it's a very handy glow, but you can also use just the default glow in After Effects. Maybe just duplicate it once or twice to achieve a similar effect. Now it looks like we might have a little bit too much glow at the end here, so I'm just going to change the size, maybe 150. Should be fine. We just want to add a little bit, adds a little more depth to the effect. Seems to be fine. Alright, so go ahead and add that to the render queue. Just make sure it's only 6 seconds long. Render it in whatever you want. I'm going to use probably Apple ProRes 44444 with a million fours, and just save that to the desktop or wherever you want, somewhere that you're going to find it. Now pop back in and we're going to change where our camera is sitting so that we can get a different perspective on our object here. So we'll just grab the camera rotate tool, spin it around. There's no particular thing that you have to do to follow along here. You can pick your own angle, obviously. So we can see that we still have our camera keyframes on the focus distance, and this looks like it's going to reveal on a nice different angle here. Maybe we'll just go in and tweak the end of this to reveal a little bit more, maybe 280. Yeah, that looks good. And add that to the render queue as well. So that's our second scene, or our second sequence. And go back in and do the same thing again. Now we're just going to tweak the camera around a little more, finding our third angle, our third reveal angle, as you saw at the start. Yeah, let's see how this looks. Yeah, looking nice. So there we go, we've got our third one. Add that to the render queue as well. And you see, that's the handy thing, is that we're going to render out these little sequences. They're all different and unique, but you can see once you put in the keyframes for the first one, it's all quite easy. Now go ahead and delete the focus distance keyframes for the camera for our last one. Just change the focus distance up to 1500 where we can see everything, and we're going to zoom out. If you remember in the video at the start, we had a sort of reveal, and our 3D object came the center of attention at the end. So we're going to come out, pop it in the middle there, and we'll go back into our camera, and we need to work with point of interest and position here. So we'll go to the very end where we want it to be, keyframe those, head back to the start, and now we're going to go in probably on top of the object so we can get a nice little movement with the camera back out. So we'll just center ourselves over the top here. Again, you don't have to do over the top, that's just what I'm doing. I think it looks nice, but any reveal is up to you. So we'll put the focus distance back to 200 with the camera at the start. We'll see what we can see. Now if nothing comes up, feel free to just adjust it until you are getting the desired effect, maybe 210. That'll do. Now we just go along a little bit more. And basically the focus distance is, it's basically just doing exactly what it says. Every time we increase it, as for the further away that the pixels are or the particles are, they come into focus a little bit more. So it's basically, we're using the camera distance to, it's creating its own reveal effect, so to speak. So there's a lot of what seems like a lot of work, or a lot of effect on the screen is actually simply being driven by one keyframe. So it's very handy. Now let's keep adding them out. Distance as we go, 700. Now you can see it's a little bit bent here as well, so we're going to want to go back in a minute into the 3D object and just get rid of the twist. We're going to go back down into disperse and twist, get rid of the keyframes, just click that stopwatch there and set it back to 0, and everything is straight again. And actually let's just change our composition to be 10 seconds long, so we can drag our camera out, drag our 3D object out, and we're going to choose the keyframes for the position of the camera and just drag them out a little further so that we have our nice sequence that goes a little bit longer than the others. So put them around 8.5 seconds, that will be fine. And we'll readjust the keyframes here so that they're a little bit more spaced out. Alright, that should do it. And now if you just select all the keyframes, right click, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, you can also press F9, and that's just going to make things a little bit smoother. So let's have a look here. We can see we've got our reveal happening, going through different focus points, so that's good. It's coming into focus when we want it, and we've got a lot of movement. So you can see here in the original one, it's twisting. Here it comes after the transition. Comes out, and the trophy, I think this was called, is coming in and out of focus as it looks nice. It's kind of what we're aiming to achieve. Now add that one to the render queue as well. Remember that we're saving it everywhere where we can find them all. Now once they're all rendered out, pop them all into the timeline. Obviously I haven't rendered it out here because I've already done the video. And what we can do is just add an adjustment layer on top of those and just do a little bit of color correction. Feel free to use the curves. I'm just going to go simply with Magic Bullet Looks here. Nice and easy for a quick color grade. I think time and place on the left, and then the classic hot and cold should do the trick. We'll apply that one, and adds a nice little effect with not much time wasted. Obviously you can color grade this with lumetri color, with curves, with all the basic things, add a tint, however you choose. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, please subscribe.
Hey, if you won't give it to me, I'ma take it. Take it. If you won't give it to me, I'ma take it.